Hi, my name is Dylan, and today I'm going to try to explain the differences between combinations and permutations in a way that you'll understand if you are confused, like I was. Now, learning about combinations and permutations, what I learned was that the difference between them is in permutations order matters, and in combinations the order doesn't matter. So let's start off by looking at the equations. So we have n choose r. N factorial divided by r factorial multiplied by n minus r factorial. And on the other side we have npr. N factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Now, just looking at the equation, what do we notice the difference? Well, really the only difference is this r factorial. And this is a very important skill to use in math, showing the differences between equations or something like that. So what would happen if I were to multiply by r factorial up here? Well, we could cross out this r factorial, and we could cross out this r factorial, giving us n factorial over n minus r factorial. Now, what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that if we multiplied the answer of our combination by r factorial, that would give us the number of permutations. Now, let's work on a visual. Let's say we had 4 marbles. Now let's say we wanted to break these 4 marbles up into sets of 3, and how many combinations of 3 could we get? Well, let's start off by using the equation. We have 4 choose 3. And what we get out is 4 factorial divided by 3 factorial multiplied by 4 minus 3 factorial. So we know that 4 minus 3 factorial, 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 factorial, that can go away since we have another value being multiplied. What we also know is 4 factorial turns into 4 multiplied by 3 factorial divided by 3 factorial. That's what we have. And we could cross those out, so the answer we get out will be 4. So we know there are 4 different combinations. What are those 4 different combinations? Well, I'll write them up on the board. So these are the 4 ways that we can combine 3 different colors of 4. So what we showed earlier was that if you multiply by r factorial, that will give you the amount of permutations. So if I want to know, well, okay, now that I have the amount of combinations you could get if you did 4 choose 4, what's the permutation of that without doing 4 choose 4p3? So we could just multiply this by 3 factorial. 3 factorial is just 6. So we multiply this by 6 and we get 24. So there are 24 different ways we can set up each of these. There are 24 different ways we can set up these. What we also know is since there are 4, we know that each one of these is going to be separated into 6 different permutations. So that means that this, we'll just use one of these. This black, red, and green can be separated into 4 different orders. And I'll write those 4 different orders. So visually, these are the 6 different ways we could do the first one, and there'll be 6 different ways we could do the second one, 6 different ways we can do the third one, and 6 different ways we can do the fourth one. So the connection is you could just multiply or divide by r factorial to get the combination or permutation. That is what made me understand combinations and permutations, and I hope it allowed you to understand as well, if you are confused.